Alright mates, how's it going? In today's video, episode 19 of Day of the Dragon by Richard A. Knack. Let's go!
So much for the wizard. Should we dig the body out? No, wasted time. We leave Grimbertoll now.
Nekros and the orcs then buggered off, completely unaware that the main character of this story was still very much alive. But Ronin wasn't exactly having a whale of a time. Incredible pressure was pushing down on his head. Felt like his skull was going to explode. Ronin then shifted, trying to make himself a little bit more comfortable, but that didn't really work. However, the slight movement made him aware of something else digging into his head. A small object, perhaps a pebble. He carefully manoeuvred his hand to try and remove it, only to realise the object had some sort of magical aura to it, and upon further inspection, discovered it to be none other than the black gemstone from inside Deathwing's medallion. Huh, pretty convenient for that to be right there. But no time to overthink that, because the sounds of rocks and rubble and debris collapsing further then arose, and that was followed by a little Scottish curse.
Falstad?
Aye, it's about time you woke up.
Have you? Is Verisa alive?
Hard to say. She's too distant for me to check.
How far above you are the rocks?
Currently tickling my nose, human. Never thought I'd be alive at my own burial. Ronin then went silent for a moment or two, desperately racking his brain for some solution to their current predicament. Human, if it's not too much to ask, could you maybe get us the hell out of here?
Just give me a few moments.
Oh, by all means. Take as long as you like. An idea then popped into Ronin's head. 'Twas a risky one, but it's not like he had much of a choice.
Falstad, I'm going to try now.
That would please me to no end, human. I've got rocks in places I don't want to talk about. Okay then. Ronin then began muttering his words of power, whilst rocks above him shifted ominously. Utilising his good hand, he then started drawing a sign in the air. And then, poof, he was outside. Despite the pain in his entire body, the wizard sat up and checked for his companions, and to his relief, he saw Falstad and Verisa, although she was unnervingly still. Never will I ever crawl into another tunnel. There's only the sky for me from now on. Ronin didn't reply. He was too busy rising up on unsteady feet and struggling towards Verisa's prone form, and as he drew closer, she groaned.
She's alive, Falstad.
Was it the groan that gave it away, human? Ronin.
Yes, it's me. Take it easy. I think you got struck hard on the head.
I remember. Oh God, stop burying me alive!
It's okay. We're safe. We're safe.
The ceiling. Where are we, Ronin? How did we get here?
You remember the shield that saved us from the golem? After the monster destroyed itself, the shield held up, long enough to keep us from being crushed to death.
It's Falstad. He saved all of us, my elven lady. Saved but dropped us off in the middle of nowhere. Ronin then looked around at their surroundings.
Not nowhere, Falstad. I think I sent us to the very top of the mountain. Everything, including the orcs, lies far below us.
Okay.
Judging by the fact I can see you both better and better, I fear it's nearing dawn, which means if Nekros is an orc of his word, they'll be leaving the fortress at any moment. Eggs and all.
Why would they do something so daft? Why abandon a place so secure?
Because of an impending invasion from the west.
An invasion? Where'd they get a mad idea like that?
From us. From our being here. Deathwing brought me here to serve as evidence of some forthcoming attack. And Nekros is mad. I imagine he already believed that an assault was imminent. When I showed up, he felt certain of it.
But why would Deathwing want the orcs to leave? What would he gain?
He tried to convince me that he wanted to rescue the Red Dragon Queen, but he wants to slay her. Too much of a risk while she was deep within the mountain, but in the open, he can swoop down and kill her with a single blow. And Nekros wanted to leave by dawn.
Is he daft? Would have made more sense to leave during the cover of darkness, surely. At that, Ronin shook his head.
Nekros indicated at one point in the questioning that he was prepared for anything, even Deathwing. In fact, he even seemed eager for the Dark One to appear.
Well, that makes the least sense of all of this. How could Nekros possibly hope to defeat Deathwing?
Well, how did he control the Dragon Queen? And how did he summon a creature like that golem?
'Twas the artifact, Ronin thought. Had to be. However, Falstad then urgently waved for silence and pointed northwest, and as the ranger and wizard looked in that direction, they saw a vast shape in the sky. He's here.
Whatever's to happen, it's begun.
Meanwhile, the lengthy orc caravan started to move out from the mountain, and right at the back of it, Nekros trudged along with both Alexstrasza and Turan in tow, and Alexstrasza was absolutely glaring at her captor, hatred radiating in her eyes. But Nekros didn't give a shit. She could hate him all she wanted. Not like she could do anything about it whilst he held the demon soul. A smile then formed on the old orc's face. With Deathwing in his command, he would restore glory to his people. The Horde would rise anew, sweeping through Alliance lands and cutting down any who stood in their way. War Chief Nekros Skullcrusher had a nice ring to it. He just needed Deathwing to bloody hurry up and get here. However, that thought was then interrupted by some weird noises. Noises that did not come from the sky. They came from the ground. And then, a whole bunch of dwarves suddenly burst out of it.
We need to get down there.
Can't you just do what you did before?
No. If I do that, I'll have no strength left. Besides, I don't know where to put us. Would you like to end up in front of an orc swinging an axe?
Well, it doesn't look like we can climb down. That's just wings. Maybe he's still around. The dwarf then started rummaging in his pouch, whilst Ronin watched with utter bafflement.
What are you talking about?
Here we go. Faustad then triumphantly held out a tiny whistle, put it to his lips, and blew as hard as he could. Bloody forgot about him, didn't you? Soon enough, the griffin that everyone had forgotten about appeared, squawking and wagging its tail. Good lad, good lad. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. A few moments later, the three of them were soaring above the clouds, and immediately saw a sight they'd not expected at all. There was another bloody dragon up here. It's a red one. This random other dragon also appeared to be old. Too old to have been born within the mountain. The orcs hadn't held Alexstrasza for that long. So who the bloody hell was this? Should we maybe land? Ronin then scanned the area below and caught sight of Nekros. The orc was holding something that gleamed bright, and appeared to be pointing it directly towards this new random dragon. Well?
Sorry, land over there.
Okie dokie. They then landed on a nearby ridge, with Ronin immediately jumping off and hurrying to the edge. The random dragon now appeared to be behaving completely erratically, as if battling some invisible foe, but then abruptly stopped, grew limp, and plummeted towards the ground. Is it dead?
I don't know.
Seemed likely that it was, in fact, dead. If the artifact hadn't killed it, the fall probably did, but they didn't really have time to dwell on that because another massive form then emerged from the clouds. Deathwing. The dark dragon then soared towards the orc column, but not directly towards Nekros.
He doesn't care about Alexstrasza dead or alive. He wants her eggs.
The orc leader raised his artifact in the beast's direction. However, nothing. Deathwing didn't seem to give any shits. The Leviathan grabbed two of the wagons with surprising gentleness, turned, and then immediately buggered off, causing the orc leader to start yelling at the top of his voice. He was still holding the artifact aloft, only this time, he wasn't directing it towards Deathwing. He was commanding a very large, sickly-looking red dragon that stood beside Alexstrasza, and said dragon took off in pursuit, whilst Ronin kind of stood there wondering what the hell Nekros was thinking. Surely he didn't believe such an ill-looking dragon was any match for the Dark One. I don't understand it. Surely Krasis is the reason the Hill Dwarves are finally attacking. So why is he not here with them? Ronin turned to Varisa, again wondering what the bloody hell was going on.
Krasis? What's he got to do with this?
So, Varisa then went ahead and brought Ronin up to speed. At first, he didn't really believe her, but soon enough, he was absolutely furious. After he led us inside the mountain, he stopped talking. The ranger then revealed the medallion, which looked remarkably like the one Deathwing had given to Ronin, and upon further inspection, Ronin noticed the gem within it had become misaligned. So he popped it back into place.
Well, Krasis, are you there? Anything else you'd like us to do for you? Perhaps you'd like us to die as well?
Ronin, praise be, there may still be hope.
Well, that was unexpected.
Krasis, are you...
Listen, I must conserve energy. You may be able to salvage something.
What do you want?
First, I must bring you to me.
The medallion then flared, and poof, Ronin was now in a different place again. Ronin then realised he was staring directly into the eyes of a fallen giant, the same red dragon that had plummeted from the skies a few moments earlier.
You have my deepest apologies, Ronin, for everything.